Omar's arms are riddled with 250 shotgun pellets, causing him constant pain. He was fired on by the Syrian army at a pro-democracy protest in 2012. And then arrested, imprisoned and tortured.
They took me underground and started beating me, torturing me. They had pipes, thick water pipes, and they used those pipes to beat me with. I was blindfolded. They handcuffed my hands and hung me up for hours.
We've changed Omar's name to protect his family. He escaped prison thanks to a bribe paid by his father and fled to the UK in November 2020. But during the long wait for an asylum decision, more than 2 years, his mental health suffered and he attempted to take his own life.
I was so disappointed. I was under the impression that Great Britain is great, and if I get to Great Britain, that I will not face injustice. But it wasn't like that. For 2 years, they didn't tell me they were not going to grant me asylum, and that was torture.
Omar certainly isn't alone. Nearly 40,000 asylum seekers have been waiting more than a year for a decision.
The government's strategy to reduce the future backlog is to discourage most asylum seekers from coming to the UK at all through the threat of deportation to Rwanda. Well, that's been blocked in the courts for now. The Prime Minister says he's determined to push ahead with plans for a legally binding treaty with Rwanda, as well as emergency legislation expected in the Commons, perhaps as soon as next week.
We know that a sense of powerlessness, a lack of autonomy, is linked very strongly to mental illness. I've had many clients who have been forced onto small boats at gunpoint and seeing other people drown, who've actually said that the waiting and not knowing is a worse torture than what they've been through.
Omar's claim has now been rejected, though he has been granted a temporary right to stay in the UK for 2 years, but can't bring his family.
Can anybody live without his children and wife? It's not easy. Sometimes I think it would just be better for me to go back to Syria.
And what would happen if you had to go back to Syria?
They will execute me.
The Home Office say they ensure the vulnerabilities of asylum seekers are considered at every stage, and they're on track to clear the backlog of cases from before June 2022 by the end of this year. But for those in limbo, the wait is bleak. Amanda Akas, Sky News.